absolutely despairing over that checkpoint. And
Yeah,
I'm throwing in the towel.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't want to play up until 8 in the morning. I could probably commit, but I don't feel it. So I'm gonna play it another day. Anyway, we are starting here. It has been a long time since we were actually casting together.
Yeah, true.
Also some steps that we were missing in total. I missed, I think, the last 3 races, if I recall it correctly. And now we have race number 7.
Indeed. So you missed Dylan is Dylan, Portside Pursuit, and Oasis. I ended up missing Oasis due to being getting down with the sickness TM. But yeah, we had Import on the horn to fill us in and also do the honors of casting the Div 1 round. We've had plenty of action. Wosal getting a pit speeding penalty on his very first pit stop, which was kind of unfortunate. And that got compensated with a very heavy stop pick by Kvik on one of the flagpoles during lap 11 early on during the track. So ultimately, things somewhat canceled out, and Wosal ended up coming away with his 4th win of the season, which puts him level in terms of all-time race wins with Patroza in TMFL stats, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's a nice stat there, indeed. But I mean, this season is already kind of decided. Of course, we had a weaker start from, or like not a weaker start, an unlucky start from Quick into the season. But with that, he kind of took himself out of the conversation already. But just spectating him right now on this very messy and hectic track, he finds himself tailoring through the turns very nicely. This reminds me of Mario Kart, but very, very good performance from Quick. And well, if we take a look onto the whole total standings, then we actually open it, and has been. I just know that Quick is like, I think, in 2nd position, but I have to. Yeah, he's in 2nd. He has 180 points less than Wosal. So unless Wosal just finishes in okay positions, he is the champion of this season.
Yeah, indeed. I'm still going to be focusing with Quick on my end because I'm starting to get some tire and fuel data to try and gauge, of course, the tire and fuel consumption we're going to be looking at per lap. Now, this is the last high grip level track that we're going to be running on in the entire history of TMFL. The rest of the races happening after this one are going to be back onto the medium. Oh, that's unfortunate there for Quick. That's topic with one of the pillars. Halfway through turn 8, the very, very tight sort of 270-degree right-hander that sort of winds its way underneath the mountain before heading back out again. We're gonna see what the figure suggests for Quick for like tire and fuel consumption. So tires will be likely at 85, 84, and in terms of fuel, 85 liters dead. So 85%. Okay, so roughly about 8% per lap. I would gauge 7.7, 7.8% of tires to be used per lap. And in terms of fuel usage, quick maths, I think that's 7.5 liters of fuel. So here, limiting factor, well, they're roughly even, I say, in terms of limiting factor. Of course, tires will be more likely limiting factor if you're trying to push for really, really big rounds. So I think if you're somewhat conservative, you can do 10 lap stints if you want to pit at the 30% range, where it starts to get a little bit dicey when it comes to tires. Or if you really want to extend, of course, you can try to pull, I'm guessing 13 lap stints is what I'm ballparking it. You could even do 14, but if you really want to risk with 2% of tire life, that's like a big no-no, I think, with the amount of time that you end up losing by just extending for just that one tiny lap more.
Okay, so I think that we will be seeing, because we have to take a look onto the laps as well, right? It's 56 laps, so I do think that we have like 10 lappers, 10-10, and then
5 stoppers,
and then 9-9-9-9 up until the ending. So there will be like four ways or 4 stints with 9 laps and 2 with 10 laps, and that will result into 56 laps. There's probably someone like,
that's a fair point.
I mean, 11 and then 12 laps maybe as well. Like that you have one 12 lapper and then the rest is the 11 lappers could also happen. But I do think that only the likes of Moda, Shorty, some of those people will go for that. We will figure that out. So, pretty short map in that way. I mean, we see Nano currently leading 49.3.
We're more towards the sort of length that we've seen at the beginning of the season with Daku Raceway. Oasis was a bit of a freak one in terms of map length, because it was one of the rare maps where the lap tends to go over the minute by quite a significant margin, hence the somewhat low lap count that we saw last time around, which was sort of 34 laps. Here we're back onto some more of a bit more of a sprint feeling race when it comes to lap times, and qualifying is going to blow by very, very quickly here.
Yeah, and also one very important factor to take into consideration is the probability of rain today. It is at 72%. So I do think that we probably already gonna see now, or is it just me tripping, that the cloud is getting a bit darker, because usually you can see that, but I don't think so.
I do.
Maybe just the outside, yeah.
Yeah, might be just the sky looking a little bit weird because of the filter being applied on. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we've had some rain during practice. Last time we had a rained out race that was being portside pursuit, and it was a very high likelihood of rain as well. I think it was also 70% there or thereabouts in the last race that I commentated on. So portside pursuit, that was race 5 of the season. And come the race, the rain was somewhat delayed by close to 25 laps, something like that. I thought it was going to be coming right away with the kind of probability that we were working with. But turns out weather can be a little bit more unpredictable than we think.
Yeah, and just because of that, I think that Marius89 is gonna win today's race, because he's the master of rain. He's really good at this. It feels like coast if you go into rain, but I do think that he can play really good on this map. Also, it's very tight. Just think about this cave section, right? This long right-hander, the 270-degree right-hander. We will see a lot of mistakes there, maybe even flips and something like that. And Marius is able to just hold on his car. If it rains, of course, if it rains. But I think with 72%, it's like, is it almost certain that it rains? The question is when. Maybe it's just a rainy qualifier. Who knows? That's the beauty. We had one rainy race as well. Where it was in the last lap.
I'm thinking we could have some delayed rain. I mean, this is essentially what happened over in portside pursuit, where we had a good chunk of the race that was actually bone dry, allowing players to just push a little bit more than they were potentially calculating for. So this could also potentially play havoc with the strategy of some people, depending on how they were actually planning out their stops.
Okay, we also have a question of how does the rain affect the car. It's very hard to brake for you in that way, and also the acceleration. It's just, if you release, you will not slow down not slow down a lot, and you just then drift out. It's the most important factor is to not slide at all, actually, because if you slide, you just slide out. Maybe if you have played Coast in Trackmania United forever, you should know how the car feels like. So that's how rain affects the car. Usually with rain, it's also you go a bit slower, so that means that you do not burn that much fuel. So that is one okay thing to that you get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a fair assessment. You know, comparing that to Coast, the sort of same kind of more cumbersome handling of the car, where you have to be a bit more mindful about how you place the car, how you actually get the car inscribed into the turn, and basically avoid any kind of moment where the back end wants to break away from the ideal line. Otherwise, yeah, you just slide out and it's basically just over at this point, as we're seeing a few players making some practice pit stops, of course. Well, I say practice pit stops, we see an instant retry then from Dexter, since we're still in free practice, about 12 minutes to go. And so far, Dexter having the lap record, which I'm guessing we might be dipping into the low 48s if we might see people getting a little bit more comfortable with the map, seeing how far they can push the limits. Of course, for me, the real run breaker is going to be turn 8, the one that very tight right-hander underneath the Coliseum that we're actually getting to right now from the perspective of Dexter. This one is, of course, exceedingly tight, as we talk about, but we also have to slalom in between the pillars right there, and it's so easy for you to go a little bit too wide and just end up running into one of the pillars, which just sends your run down the gutter.
Yeah, I agree with that one as well, especially when it rains, but also with no rain. I think this turn will be very important to just nail. I'm following Quick, who just enters that turn combination that you're talking about. You need to be very cautious, and we see both Speedy and Quick into the pole there. And look how much time you lose. The gear kicks in later, you lose a lot of speed. And let's see the pit entry here as well, because I think Quick could go for that one just in a second here. He's at 20% tires. Also, your tires feel a bit different, so maybe you don't want to be greedy on your tires and go for an extra additional lap. Maybe it will be something like 9 and 10 lappers. But yeah, pit entry doesn't look that hard.
Yeah, pit entry is a lot more straightforward and a lot less blind compared to the previous track that the people ran on. That being, of course, Oasis, where we've seen even the best. I mean, I was mentioning Wussal got a 10-second pit speed penalty in that particular race because, yeah, that's of course is somewhat blind, and if you're not careful, you end up braking a little bit too late, and all of a sudden you find yourself crossing the line at 135 instead of 130, and you get bopped for speeding. So this time, I don't think we're going to be seeing many incidents regarding the pit lane entry, unlike some other tracks like Oasis or even Dylan is Dylan, where people were thinking, oh, maybe that's a shortcut to make it through the final corner, which was a long 180 right-hander, but the pit entry was right beneath that. And some players were taking that lap after lap and just ended up getting 10-second penalties left, right, and center.
Yeah. That's true, and with a penalty, you have to wait up until your car changes tires and fuels up again. So that's something that you should avoid at any cost. And here, like, I think you can only get a penalty if you just really push it too hard and you want to brake very late. But I do not think that it's worth the risk to gain maybe like a half a second. But we're probably gonna see some pit overtakes in general, because sometimes I think also someone like Shorty and Marius, they brake very early. And there we go, rain is coming soon, so we will have a little bit of rain in the free practice. So that is good to see. Nano currently in first, good performance from him. And then we have Dexter on second, Shorty on third, and Quick on fourth. Depending on how long the rain will last, those will be the standings, because you
has somewhat vanished. At least that's definitely the vibe that I'm getting. The sky getting a little bit colder in there, and you can see somewhat darkening, bigger clouds forming. Maybe we're gonna soon be seeing the fog, and then of course the raindrops and the striped yellow and red flag, which is of course a real flag used in motorsport to be to warn people of slippery surfaces, because it is indeed going to get very slippy very quickly.
Yeah, it's coming soon. It's getting darker and darker. Dexter still with a very good performance, and he still uses that practice to memorize this map. And I do want to follow someone who's able to clear the rain nice, and I do think that Marius was doing it really nice. And what position is he right now, actually? On P20.
Marius.
Yeah, P20 for Marius. Okay. So I'm going to follow him and see how he clears the rain, because he's just very good on this kind of surface. A very well-rounded player. Or well-rounded player, also able to play United, a lot of other Trackmania competitions, and also known to play a lot of that stuff. So let's see what Marius can do. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left of free practice, and the rain is coming in. Just now you can see the slippery track being announced, and let's see how Marius does it. He should be aware, and look at that 400 speed. Oh, but
okay, so far getting a little bit more traction, because it's not getting rained out very, very quickly here. You can see turn 2 very, very tight. Now through turn 3 and 4. Still gradually making a few adjustments here and there. It's gradually becoming wetter and wetter, and soon we're going to get a little bit more wary drivers in terms of initiating slides now through the long left-hander turn 7. Just keep the car straight and nice and smooth. Avoid the slide, otherwise this is what happens. You just slide off into the wall on the exit, and also you're going to be compromising your entry into turn 8, of course, and turn 8 is going to be even more tricky. It was already tricky beforehand with the Tarai track. Here it's even more tricky, because you still carry, of course, a little bit of wetness, and that still affects your grip. And turn 11 is also going to be very tricky. You got a wide entry, that's fine, but then it just tightens up as you get to the second part of the corner before moving on to the start-finish straight right there.
Yeah, and also now my mod has loaded successfully. I think there's a mod on this map. But yeah, I mean, now it's just now it's really hard, and you can see Marius, like, look how well he tailors himself through those turns. And you want to release, it's like playing coast. Drifts are very, very costly, because the car is just uncontrollable, and you lose too much time with that. So Mario shows us how to do it. Sin, sliding out and losing a lot of time, but that's the entry that I was talking about. Look at that.
Yeah, that entry is rough.
Marius getting some airtime there, sliding out and crashing. Still not too bad though, to be honest. Only 0.58 away from his time. So Mario's still very, very fast on this map, and I hope that we're gonna see a race that is heavily influenced by rain today. So far it's the free practice, but after the free practice, you know, will not rain through. Maybe that will be the storyline. Maybe we're gonna start with a rainy race and also a rainy qualifier. Who knows, who knows? I'm always looking forward to see, because also the last lap of rain in I think race number 1 or 2 it was really cool.
The last lap, I think it was race 3, wasn't it?
Oh, race 3 could have also been, yeah. Yeah, I was casting it alone,
It was on Lycanos that you had a very, very brief rain shower that kind of threw a monkey wrench into some of the players' plans over the course of the final lap. But yeah, here we did actually, come to think of it, we didn't have I don't think we had a wet qualifier so far this season. We were close to having one on Portside Pursuit, but it ended up being bone dry from what I recall. And then of course the delay in the rain before lap 25 or 26 came in.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see what qualifier is going to look like in about 5 minutes from now.
49.3 from Marius with rainy conditions.
Ooh. Rain for rain? Holy crap,
that is really fast. So maybe you can get through those turns a bit better because your car can steer a bit better. But Marius, wow, what a great performance here from him so far. And he's again on a great time. I'm not sure if we have seen a rainy track being faster than a non-rainy track, but so far Marius just being so aggressive on those turns is again 0.4 ahead of his former set time, and he's on another banger quick ahead of him. But Marius comes close, a very good line there as well. Whoa. He can push a bit more there, lost a bit of speed, but that is a 48 here. Look at that. Very good time. 48.86.
48.861. Okay, wow. that is indeed very fast. And yeah, it just makes you wonder what the times would have looked like, and what the times could look like on the dry track, because the fastest time that we have, quick, is on a 48.4, which I'm assuming was actually done in the dry. So, assuming qualifying is dry, I'm guessing we could be getting into the 47s pretty quick, I think.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Pretty quick, but I think also with with wet tires, your car, it's just steering, or it's easier for you to steer in those corners.
It feels like the turning radius gets a little bit tighter with the wet wheels. Of course, with the added handicap, quote unquote, of the fact that you are working with a much lower grip window than what you used to in the dry. So you still have to be very, very careful on how you pitch the car into the corner with that tighter radius, which can somewhat make things a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I agree with that, but maybe this is even a faster track while being while having wet conditions. And look at that, quick 0.35 ahead right now. We'll make it 0.4, approaching the very tricky entry here. Does it really well, and I think he's on a good time. This could be a 47. Ooh. Also good line there. Look how much speed he accumulates over that one, but goes over the curb there.
That was a great approach.
That was an interesting bump.
That was a great approach over the course of that little underground section there, going outside of the vault for the first hole through turn 11. Time. He lost a lot of time through that particular section, but across the line, we're going to get into the low 48s. Oh, he lost a lot of time in that final sector. Yeah, I think this is where maybe the difference between wet and dry starts to come up, because that was a lot of time to be lost right there.
Yeah, he also didn't have the cleanest of turns, but still he lost half a second with that turn, give or take, compared to a perfect turn. But quick again on a very good time. So it's a PPL 5,000 faster than his former set time. And here, look at that. He goes wider there by the looks of it. And actually, never mind. This time he doesn't. But let's see how much speed he loses. Okay, not that much. 800s make it maybe, like 12 now, 10 to 1200s now of a second, and he's again ahead. Oh, but slides out, and he will not improve. But there's so much still possible on this map. It is probably a sub 48, even with rainy conditions.
Yeah, that was such a great attack that we've seen from Quick in that final corner. Of course, sliding out at the very end, which is a bit unfortunate. But there's a lot of potential. I'm thinking even on the wet track, we might be seeing 47s. Come to think of it.
Yeah. So much potential on this map, and free practice is over, so quickly gonna explain you what will be happening afterwards. We will have the qualifier after, where the top 13 is getting points, and also your starting position will be set in stone. It is one flying lap, so you have 2 laps, and the best one counts, which is the flying lap, of course. And then we have the actual race happening after that with 56 laps, where players have to consider their fuel and tires. So you have to pit, and if you're faster than 130 kilometers per hour in the pitting lane, you will get penalized by 10 seconds of standing still before anything will happen, before you refuel, before you change your tires and all of that. So that will be great, and this is also where you can gain the most amount of points during this weekend of racing.
Yep, indeed. And just as a quick reminder for those of you who just came in, of course, Wosal leading the standings with 180 points of advantage over Kvik, currently sitting in second, and completing the provisional podium in the Season 6 standings is Shorty in third place. And actually, in terms of the biggest movers from last week's race, we've had Super Carlouf, 2006 world champion, who came away with the podium finish on Oasis. So that allowed him to move up to P5 in the championship standings with just a solid points haul and a solid points gain.
Yeah, that is sick. And look at that time from Quick here, by the way. Fasten your seatbelt.
Oh, okay. We're well into the 47s.
Well. 47.5 is possible. And we are already seeing a clear favorite to win this race. Also, Wosal set a very good time, actually, just after that.
Yeah, Wosal 47. Well, it says 48.6 on that end.
He's 1.1 seconds behind. Maybe he did not set that time there, but wow, Quick already dominating. Like, he has figured something out that even Marius hasn't done so. But Dexter, also with a good time, also he's able to put in a good time. So Dexter, Quick, Marius, top 3 maybe?
Marius top 3. I'm thinking. Yeah, Marius top 3 is not a bad shot in terms of calling the race. Now, Wosal, I'm thinking like he was just more of like trying to get an understanding of the track and how the car behaves in the conditions on that particular track and how to negotiate the particular corner sequences that we were witnessing here on King's Landing. So here are the standings for free practice. Kvik, of course, driving a superb final lap with a 47.5 flat to take the standings lead in free practice. Dexter second, Wosal third, Nano fourth, Adri fifth, Marius sixth, Nobody seventh, Shorty eighth, pecking into, and Bezeker completes the top 10.
Yeah, so there you go. Those players looking quite comfortable on this map, but of course you do not gain anything in the free practice. It's just to get you accustomed to the track. So there you go, and now we're starting with the qualifier. 5 minutes time, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. There's some players starting a bit later to set 2 laps. You only have 2 laps to go for, so it's do or die. But let's see, will the qualifier be slippery or not? Because
here we go.
I think it's now. So now it's like, okay, we don't stop the rain. Like it has to stop. You know, I mean, yeah, now it's only warm up. I think there will still be rain, but like my thesis is that it's not like, okay, you know, qualifier and free practice, we just gonna cut the rain in that way. I do think that we're gonna have rain in the qualifier and also during the race start.
We'll see. We'll see, because last time we had rain in free practice, it hasn't rained in qualifying. That's the thing I want to point out on the Portside Pursuit. But we'll see in about 8 seconds from now, really, where the warm-up will be ended and the qualifying session will be starting. 1 out lap followed by 1 flying lap, of course, to set your position on the starting grid with rows of 5 that will be make up set starting grid. Oh, okay, there we go. So, okay, your hypothesis was looking to be correct with already a slippery track, and this is going to be very spicy very quickly here on this qualifying session.
Yeah, very quickly. So let's follow Quick and see what he can do. Wosal,
I'm sorry, I'm just walking right into it, don't I?
Yeah, Wardrobe playing Simon Luck, Piadith, and also I think that was, I'm not even sure who that was. I think Dazzle, I'm not 1000% sure, but you can see how hard those conditions are. So many slide outs, and you want to avoid that at any costs. Yeah, so it is Wosal leading, Simon with a good line here as well, and it is Quick going a bit more conservative, and it is Riser overtaking him. And also Dazzle, Berserker, Sin from Canada, and Marius as well as Speedy. But a lot of mistakes have happened, but I think Quick is a good POV here to follow for the flying lap. And look at that speed here from Quick, just going into the lap with a lot of speed, 59 seconds. And I think let's follow Marius, because I think Marius is a bit further behind. Yes, Marius is behind, and let's see what he can do. Dazzle sliding out the ditch here, and also Quick with a good line there. Speedy with a mistake, and Marius can maybe capitalize here, but Quick is still ahead of him and also extending his lead here. A lot of speed accumulated from the Norwegian player, and Marius can already get himself some good points. Wosal was the first player to cross the finish line, and also Quick, I thought he lost some time there, but he just went a bit further outside, and look at that, he just has so much more speed again. And there you go, the last turn will decide it. Marius looking strong. Speedy also with a very solid qualifier here. If he doesn't fail the ending, oh no, he will not. So I think Speedy will also get top 13. It is Simon Luck temporarily going to the lead. And then we have Marius and Quick on that top 10 placement as well. Quick currently leading, Simon Luck on second. Very good performance from him. Then Super Kaluf, Wosal, Speedy, and Riser. But we still have a lot of players to finish.
Yeah, still have a lot of players to finish indeed, and it looks as though there's not really set to be any kind of improvement on that particular qualifying session. We do have a few players still with Jems, Trilix, and so on and so forth. Akros also coming across the finish line now. And yeah, the grid is set with Quick. Once again, well, he dominated pre-practice, and here he manages to dominate qualifying and pull a gap of a quarter of a second between himself and second place Simon Luck. iFreezer completes the top 3. Then we've got Super Karlouf in the top 4. Nice qualifying performance from Karlouf. And Mosal completes the first row on 5th position. Then on the second row, in that order,
Berserker peeking into Shorty. 11th, 12th,
qualifying session for Marius, 12th place for Pecking Into, 11th place for Berserker, Shorty 13th, Shadany 14th, Dexter 15th, and Odas, Dampoletto, Trilix, and Neumneko, as well as Sweet Self completing the top 20. As I said, 10th place for Marius 89. It's not too shabby of qualifying, but the big question is, can he convert some pretty big flashes of brilliance in practice into a potential W in the race? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, for Marius, you just cut off once you were talking about the qualifier, but that's all fine. We can see it here on paper, but I think the thesis now is, can Marius' consistency pay off? Because mistakes will happen on this map, inevitably. And it is very, very costly if you crash in this corner, if it is rain. If rain is, of course, incorporated here. Let's see if we also have a rainy start into the race. We have 3 minutes of warm-up where weather conditions are normal, and then we're gonna start with the race. So my prediction, it will be... I'm going with Marius winning the race today. It is a bold one, and of course Quick was dominating, but I do think that Marius knows how to play consistency, or consistent. And he knows how to deal with that kind of situation. Maybe Quick is a bit too greedy and makes 1 or 2 mistakes where Marius can capitalize from.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and try to put my money on Mr. Super Karlouf, which I'm currently spectating over, because, I mean, he's on a pretty good upswing of results lately, of course, with that 3rd place finish that he had on Oasis. I'm thinking with a little bit of a stroke of luck and great strategy, he can really play his cards right to try and go for a little bit of a hustle up at the front and maybe try to tickle the little feet of those that are running in 2nd or 1st place to try and dislodge them. Who knows? I'm thinking Super Karlouf can actually spring a surprise here. Yeah,
I do think so as well. I mean, also after seeing his qualifier performance, he's definitely capable of doing so. And yes, Lingo, easy, quick win. I mean, we said that for 2 races as well, and then he DC'd. Yeah, and it would also be boring to just say, oh, the person who is 1 second ahead is going to win the race. It's always cooler to have a storyline where a player that is not the fastest, or just, you know, it's surprising for us, is going to win the race. So I hope, I mean, Quick, I hope that he will survive and his internet and his script and whatever will survive this race. But it's always better to have an underdog winning, right? Even though Quick winning the race and Wosal maybe not being the... I mean, that's something we could consider, because Quick already now gained 10 points towards Wosal, so it's 170 points between them. So if Quick gets a good race and Wosal maybe only with 20 points, the season all of a sudden is then very exciting again.
Yeah, indeed, kind of flipping on its head before the next race of the season, of course, which will be Distant Waters, coming up next week on November 18th. But before that, of course, we do have the business of racing to go underneath the Coliseum here at King's Landing through Turn 8, along with Super Karlouf, with 45 seconds left to go in the warm-up. And after that, another pre-gridding session with about 15 seconds for everybody to get placed on the grid properly. And then the race goes live.
Yeah. So we have our prediction set in stone. The only question really is, how are the strats influenced by the rain, if the rain of course happens? I do think that we're gonna have a start of the race being rainy, and also the curbs to the left there or the I think that was where wheel boxes or something like that. They're actually plastic. Speedy hit them and nothing happened. So there you go. I mean, this could maybe come into play as well at some point, or you just bounce out and you flip or something like that. Could happen. But plastic, of course, not really slowing you down too much if you hit it with a certain angle. And we start in 12 seconds. So there you go, 56 laps. What are the strats? How is the strat influenced by the rain? And what will be the fastest strat here during the race? I think, you know, if you have...
Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to let the field loose and go racing in the rain at King's Landing. The race is officially go for 56 laps, and already we're going to be seeing a lot of cautious approaches over the course of this starting lap. Here we see Speedy going a little bit wide at the exit of turn 2 right there, trying to make a few positions up, moving up to P4. Let's go along with Speedy, shall we, for that little tussle for P3 versus iFreezer as well. But he slides out and crashes into the wall at the exit of turn number 5, which is going to be leaving him down in the doldrums and falling back down in the pack, following along with iFreezer just behind the duo of Quick and Mosal. Mosal trying to take away the lead from Quick, managing to do so far towards the end of lap number 1 through the kink at turn 9. Riser looking a lot speedier compared to iFreezer. Same for Dexter, who's looking to maybe put a move on Riser before turn 11. There he is. Riser forced to brake very heavily before the final corner. Mosal will be leading at the end of lap 1. Quick in P2. Dexter completes the top 3.
And across completely in the mud. So across, I think maybe started late or something like that. But Wosal, surprisingly, with a very good performance so far. And we see the first mistake. Quick is so far behind. P25 for Quick right now.
Whoa.
So he has made a mistake. I did not spot that because my camera went to Wosal, but he lost 5 seconds there in this, probably just after lap number 1, because he has the second fastest lap. But we see so many mistakes also in this corner here. Very important to not set out Speedy, being too aggressive on his tires. Also Speed Self and Dampuleto, both of the teammates are making some small mistakes. Speed Self got away with it, but also Quick now climbing up the ladder again. So maybe a good POV to follow here for the first couple of laps. But look at that, 88 liters still left, 91%. So you only lose like 5% of tires per lap. So you can be like, you can chill a lot during this race, and you don't need to pit if it continues to rain.
Yeah, I feel like you can definitely, with those rainy conditions, of course, fuel consumption will be a little bit reduced because you're not as much on the throttle. And given that you're a little bit more cautious with your tires, since you're not really looking to activate slants that much, you're going to be preserving their life a little bit longer compared to what it would be in the dry. So I'm thinking we're going to be seeing some 11 or 12 lappers, maybe a bit sooner than we think here with that rained out start of the race that we're currently having, as we're still currently following along with Quick. Wimmelbody going a little bit slow, allowing Quick to move up 1 position, moving up to P14. Speedy and Warl further up ahead compared to the Norwegian. And we also see Wosal having dropped back down from 1st to 5th, allowing Dexter to move up into the lead of the race, provisionally speaking, even though Wosal continues to set the track ablaze in the rain with a 48.517, currently the fastest lap. So Quick really struggling, and Wosal and Quick both had a faster first lap than their second by the looks of it, because they were still next to each other on P28, 29 respectively, but so many mistakes were happening. Quick moving up the ladder here, top 30 now, just ahead of Marius concerning the fastest lap. Oh, slide out from Dexter.
Sliding out as well there. Carl also not with the best line, and it is Riser and Golden Nugget on 1st and 2nd. Marius on 3rd. And that is the safe meister that I was talking about. Marius just being super good at safing and driving Ragu, but look at that line from Dexter. And that's what I mean.
What?
That's what I mean. It is plastic. If you hit that, you will not get penalized that much. So Dexter, not...
Now I see what you mean.
Yeah, and also Golden Nuggets sliding out there. So it's Riser versus Marius right now for that first position.
Yeah, now I see what you mean, because you meant tire boxes. I'm like, what is he talking about, tire boxes? And now, okay, so those are the tire barriers at the exit of turn 11 that are in a different surface. I got it. Marius moving over into the lead, and Wosal also making a really solid catch-up. Good line. Dexter again sliding out a little bit at the entry into turn number 8, and Riser also in there, mixing it up with the big boys. That's a pretty solid top 4 that we got going on here, even though we got a bit of a slow exit on the side of Riser and of Marius, allowing Wosal and Dexter to kind of leave them in the dust as we're moving on to turn 11 to conclude lap number 5 here. Wosal going a little bit wider compared to Dexter, who decides to go a little bit closer towards the apex of the corner. It's still Wosal leading with a .249, or rather Wosal retaking the lead at the end of lap 5 with a .249. Good time indeed, looking a lot slower at the exit of turn 1 compared to Dexter, though. He's going to be barely grazing the wall. The German player from Team Sprout is going to be down in the doldrums because of this, and Marius will be sniffing at the opportunity to move up into second position, although he was looking a bit slow through turn 5 and 6.
Yeah, but Marius just saving it, just chilling, you know, capitalizing from those mistakes.
Biding his time.
And also, I think we have not seen the best line there from Dexter. He went super inside. So now Dexter was able to get that a bit better. And Wosal with a mistake. We have top 2 here for the OK boys. Dexter and Marius first and second place. And we see a cross out. Probably not feeling the rain. He didn't already start the race that much. And Dexter is so far ahead now. But look at the gaps. Also Shorty moving up here. It could be top 3 voice chat. Shout out to the voice chat, to my friends. Marius, Dexter and Shorty. Let's see what Shorty can do. Can Shorty also move up into that third position for now? But Riser looking strong. Very good performance here from Riser, actually. So you love to see that. Lap 7, 69%. So still everything under control.
Nice percentage of tires left, of course, but yeah, Riser putting on a pretty solid opening performance in the first 7 laps of this race. And yeah, Wosal, unfortunately, that full stopping into the pillars. We've been talking about this at the very beginning of the practice session, of course. We also Dexter also having a bit of a trouble through turn 8. We were talking about this just before. And there goes Wosal by Carlos. Shorty looking to be a little bit antsy there, trying to go back up into P2 ahead of Riser. Yeah, he slid a little bit currently in turn 11. I caught that a little bit too late, but right now Marius inheriting the lead and still looking to be in pretty firm control right now of his car and in full possession of the grip that he has underneath him to try and basically work his way through this opening stint, which is looking to be pretty, well, thanks to the wet conditions, it is going to be looking to hold the distance. Lap 8 and still over 2/3 of tire life left to go and over 55 liters left in the tank.
Yeah, and good fight here between Quick and Wosal as well. Carl, Shorty and Riser ahead. Marius with a comfortable lead thus far. I mean, it was a very hectic start into the race. A lot of mistakes have happened, but look at that line here from Wosal going from 5th or even 6th position up to P number 4. But Quick and Carl with way more exit speed also compared to Shorty and Riser, and Wosal with that dropping down again. But very, very good overview here from Wosal over the playing field. Carl and Shorty being a bit more careful in that corner, and Wosal with a good line here as well. Mario still leading, but the others are not slowing down. Oh my god, Carl almost hitting there, but he is still in the race.
Riser looking slow.
Dude, it's so cool to see a rainy race. Like, the gaps are so... it's such a tight race thus far. It's really cool.
Yeah, so far it really opens up the possibilities, really. But let's see the line from Wosal here, because he was looking for a little bit of a wider setup at the exit of turn 8, and this is very much what he managed to do in the previous lap that allows him to be catching up big time through turns 9 and 10 up until the top 3, and then turn 11 he's forced to release a little bit more compared to Quick. Look at the speed he carries through the Norwegian, and Marius might be overtaken at the line. Ding ding ding. Oh, not quite. I thought he was going to be a lot faster than that, but Quick inheriting the lead. But look at the line, firing it up the inside for Wosal, not managing to make the move stick just yet. Oh my goodness, what a lap we're witnessing from the top 3. And again, look at the dive back down, parrying so much speed, moving up into the lead. A 2-for-1 deal through turn 5. Wosal, qu'est-ce que tu as fait, mon vieux? Mais quelle série de virages! And look at Quick going a little bit too slow heading into turn 7. Marius as well looking to be sliding out. Oh my goodness, it's all kicking.
Yek. Hallo? Thomas?
Hello?
Hello? Okay, you're back.
Hello?
Oh, and Carl into the wall, and he made a full stop there. So Carl is down to P9, and that is just impressive. We have seen 6 players in between half a second, and it is the first player to crash from that, like a major crash from Super Karluf, the 2006 world champion, and also Shorty falling a bit further behind. We have also seen Dexter making a small mistake. He finds himself on P9, and Mario's also down to P5 here, but Riser sliding out there. Mario's sliding out as well. Oh, so many small mistakes here happening, but it was a very good line. Huh? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, sorry. It seems as though the rain in King's Landing isn't the only thing affecting players. I'm also being affected by rain right now, hence why the internet cut out. So,
From rain?
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, rain and LTE don't mix. That's all I can say. In the meantime, Wasile posting a 48.125, continuing to break the barrier of the particular racetrack and continuing to lower the targets, potentially dipping into the 47s in the middle of the race as Wardrop gets put a lap down by both Wasile and by Kvik. Marius and Shorty being the next ones to put him a lap down, and also a bit of a swap of positions with Shorty moving up into third place.
Yeah, Shorty into third position, but it like just the storyline of the race. Wasile and Kvik, both with mistakes in lap number 2, and they were 6 seconds behind, and now they are in the lead again. So that is just crazy to see how good they are, but of course they are a bit more aggressive. Wasile setting the fastest lap. We have seen Kvik setting a 47.5 in the free practice, if you remember that just from a couple of minutes ago. And I think, is the rain go a bit weaker now, or is it just me?
Yeah, seems to be subsiding. Yeah, indeed. I'm seeing the filter popping back up, so the sunshine is starting to peer through. We're past lap 13, and you can still see that there's plenty of life left in the tires for most of the drivers out there as the sky is beginning to clear up. Indeed, the rain is looking to cease any moment now. I'm thinking within the next lap or so, the rain is going to be going away as Kvik has assumed the lead of the race towards lap number 13. Oh, both of the drivers bonking
also
on
Shorty.
the rock face.
Shorty as well.
Shorty as well. Oh my god. In the meantime,
Marius
I was mentioning...
Marius also made a mistake. Everyone in the top 4 made a mistake.
Mentioning that Wasile came away with it the better for wear compared to Kvik, as he did not seem to lose as much time as he did, but then turn 11 again, the culprit for the biggest amount of time loss on the part of Wasile compared to Kvik, and that allows the Norwegian to still stay roughly half a tenth to 7/10 of a second ahead, and both are running very similar lap pace in terms of ultimate lap speed. You can see 0.125 from Wasile, 0.189 for Kvik, and there we go.
Huh? Hello? What?
Hello?
Wait, in that moment, there you go. Wait, why can't I spectate?
Yeah, no, okay, you're good. Just click on the eye, then the camera, and then click follow, and you're good.
Oh, saved. I thought for a second, like it was perfect timing. I thought for a second that Kvik DC'd Wasile. I thought, oh my god, what is happening? But guys, 11 liters in the tank. So I think Wasile and Kvik will still go for one more lap because we said 8 liters. But we have to check how this goes because you don't want to coast here too much. I mean, maybe you want to actually, but you still lose a lot of time.
7.5 liters is the really low limit in terms of how far you can push in terms of fuel consumption. I think we're going to be seeing them pit at lap 15 because look, 8 liters in the tank and there's still like 3 corners to go, plus 20% of tire life left. This is just the best moment to stop right now.
Yeah, maybe Marius goes for another lap, but that would be very ballsy from him.
No. He's using way too much. He would be crossing the line with 7 liters left. There you go. Peer into the pit lane. Watch out for the 130 km/h speed limit. Everybody making it through nice and safe because the pit entry is a lot more straightforward compared to last week.
Yeah, so everyone goes for the pit stop here. It is Kvik being the first one. Claudio quitting the pit entry now, but I think he's 1 lap behind. So he's at lap 40. But also one other thing that I want to mention here with those tires, because it's kind of worth it to go for as many laps as possible, because then you just play 1 less lap with like with those normal conditions in that way. Yep. So it is very good to see that the others are just, I mean, imagine it would be like 1 lap or something like that. That would be a huge difference. But in that case, that is not occurring. But it's Kvik leading, Wasile on 2nd, Riser with a very good race on 3rd. Then we have Marius on P4, Shorty on 5th, Simulok on 6th, Dexter, then we have Carl, Golden Nugget, picking into Speedy, and then Wall, Berserker, Lingo, Nobody, Racerlight, Piadith, and Chadeni, rounding off the top 20.
All right, just you were mentioning Whirl, and I was spectating everyone, and you could see Whirl tumbling down the order. That's because he actually has gotten a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane himself, so that's why he was tumbling down the order, forced to wait that mandatory 10 seconds before getting any work done to his car, that is to say, having refueling and fresh tires. Wosal and Quick, in the meantime, swapping positions at the head of the field, with Wosal assuming the lead of the proceedings. Riser not really in a position to catch up to the leaders at this point in time anyway, and he's probably going to be focusing on trying to extract as much of a good result as he can from that particular race, because he's sitting pretty in third position and still has about 1.1 second of a gap to manage the advantage he has compared to Mario CD9. So yeah, the gaps have somewhat stretched out aside from the top two. And yeah, it's going to be pretty much a waiting race. Aside maybe from Simon Luck and Super Carlo, who are having a really, really nice battle for P6 right here.
Yeah, let's focus on them, but they are 5.5 seconds behind, make it 6 seconds behind Shorty, and then additional 3 seconds behind Marius, who's on 4th, but also Riser with a very good race. Wolfson and Quick also, slowly but surely, moving closer together. It is only 0.6 of a second between them. So let's see what Quick can do. Can he capitalize from a mistake from Wolfsal, or maybe is more aggressive on some of those corners? So far it looks like Wolfsal has the best out of it. But now the question is, will the rain return, or was that it for the race?
Yeah, that's. I think we've only had like. I don't think we've had returning rain. At least from what I've seen, we don't get returning rain so far. Like it was either once and then that was it. It was a bit delayed last time I did, but yeah, let's see if we're gonna get some more weather shenanigans as I follow back the perspective of Riser, who's trying to make his way through traffic through turn 11. He sees up ahead is Dampoletto and Trilix still fighting himself. Well, 2.2 seconds down compared to Quick, and continuing to pull a significant gap actually on Mario CD9. That's a good amount of pace there from Riser. 48.8 as well in terms of the personal best in terms of laps. That's not too shabby.
Yeah, Riser, I think probably a surprise for all of us here in this standing. But let me actually see what was his. I want to see, because he's right now in P46 and it's his first appearance this season in Division 1. Riser, Division 2, did not start. Then he was in Division 3. Then he got P1 in the qualifier and P2 in the race. Then he was Division 2 again. Then Division 2, got fastest lap there. Then DNF in Division 2, but got himself some points in the qualifier. And with that, he allowed himself with a perfect race in Division 2 last week to promote into Division 1.
Oh, so okay. I mean, that's a if you get a really, really good race, then that's pretty swinging. And he's
yeah, he got a perfect race.
Wow. Yeah, got a perfect race. So okay, so pole position, fastest lap, and then the race win, which would send him above the minimum threshold, the division, the minimum amount of points required for a division to promote himself up to Div 1, which is pretty good going actually. And speaking of the devil, Riser is now finding himself in the battle with Mario CD9. Mario's managing to catch up very, very quickly here as we're moving on to lap number 21 on the side of P3 and P4, and they're battling their way through traffic as well. Sin getting a lap down on Riser. James is also further up ahead. We see Trilix still hanging around in P24 right now. And in the meantime, it's going to be Quick having assumed the lead of the race over Wosile, and this time putting a pretty significant buffer between himself and the Frenchman. 1.4 seconds at this stage in the race. It's pretty much double. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, it was 0.7 just a couple of laps ago, but it seems like Wosile has made a mistake. He's 1 second behind his PB, his 48.12. Yeah, Quick still has not found the fastest time, but maybe in this lap it could be the case. Nope.
48.6.
It's a 48.6, maybe just a visual bug, but I'm not sure if Wolfside crashed or not, because it's sometimes a bit deceiving if you go into a player and then swap around, because now it says minus 0.4. We don't know if it's really minus 0.4 or I don't know, whatever. But it seems like Quick has a comfortable lead, but also Riser with a good race. Hence him getting or being overtaken by Marius, who right now is able or is almost able to lap Trilux, who's ahead of him, and also Tim there, but Trilux with a very wide approach. Marius very aggressive into the entry here, into the cave. And he will lap him here. And also Puleto is there as well. So good line and good race for Mario so far. And also Shorty, his teammate, on 5th place right now.
If I may point something out that Karaib in my chat was pointing out to me, is that the tire consumption is a lot more consequent in terms of Wosal compared to Quick. Look at this, there's a 15% delta, and they pitted at the exact same lap. So, yeah, Wosal definitely throwing caution to the wind, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be paying off as Quick continues to just pull away and still has pretty healthy tires, all things considered. 29% of tire life left. He can still manage that. Meanwhile, Wosal is completely all over the shot, and he's going to have to pit for tires soon at this rate. He might be if he wants to go for one more lap, he's going to have to be very conservative. Otherwise, he might risk running into the tire failures in lap number 24. Look at this, 7.7% left. He has to pit now. Quick has got 20% more compared to Wosal, which is absolutely insane. And there you go. You can see Quick continuing to extend because he can afford to do so, because he can see that Wosal is just a lot less pristine in terms of tire conservation. So I think Quick has got the upper hand for now, but also Marius is looking to be on pretty similar kind of figures. Yeah. Even though he's running a lot slower compared to Quick on ultimate pace, proverbially speaking, this is looking like a good opportunity for Marius to snag a good result there. Yeah, but also for Quick, and I do think that Wosal will have a hard task here, because he has to pit one more time than the others, by the looks of it. Yeah, because he's at lap 24 now, so the last pit stop was at lap 15. So if we take a look onto the pit stop graph, you can see there was 23, so 8 stint, so 23, 31, 39, then it's 57, no wait, 47, 55, so he needs to find that one more extra lap. And if we take a look onto Quick, he would go for 15, 24, 33, 42, 51. I mean, he can then go for a quick one, or he just goes for another lap now. Could go for a splash and dash, but yeah. He goes for another one. And that's smart, because, you know, it was at 16. No, at 15, I mean. But then he needs to squeeze out that one more lap there. Can he do that, though? Because 11% ties, 10%. Ooh. Nah, this is looking a little bit... I was gauging about 7.5 to 7.7% of tire use per lap if you're not driving like a complete tit. But yeah, you can say 8.18%, and yeah, that's way too close to make the cut on that particular set. So yeah, he was going to be heading into the pit lane for sure. Same for Marius, both of them heading for the pit lane in the meantime. Shorty's still looking pretty fresh and healthy, 21% of tires left. Simon Luck 10%, he might be looking to extend, or no, he just dives exit stage right to the pit lane as well. Oh, this could be a huge race for Shorty. This could be a huge race for him. I mean, he's could be very... Oh, ouch, ouch. Yeah, that's a huge... It's a huge race for Shorty. So he just lost 7 seconds with that mistake. Make it 8. Yeah, also good caster curse there. But to be honest, this was the opportunity for Shorty to win that race. Maybe he thought that in this moment as well, but he lost an insane amount of time. And it is him now falling behind. He lost even more than 7 seconds. The best part of 8 seconds almost. Yeah, 8. The gap 9. Gap is slashed to 6.8. Yeah, and he decides to go into the pits. Yeah, I mean, he can then go for 11 laps, or like just 10 lappers now, which would be one less pit stop than the others. I'm not sure where Quick is finding that one, because he has to squeeze in an 11 lapper in order to make it the same amount of pit stops as Shorty. Yeah, indeed. And one thing that also Karaib pointed out the sort of tire consumption delta that we see between Wosal and Quick, and he also pointed out the biggest reasoning behind that was the difference in approaches into turn number 1, the very long right-hander after the start-finish straight, where Wosal sets himself up with a drift, which is eventually going to cost him 1 or 2% more per lap at the very least, compared to Quick, who just opens up the corner really wide, even touching a little bit on the grass on the way out, and then just pitches the car very smoothly, just go for the nose slide all around the corner to make sure that he does not lose any significant amount of time making that particular line work and still conserve his tires in the process. Let's go from the perspective of Quick here. Just dips a little bit into the grass on the left-hand side and then doesn't drift, and still manages to hook up the double apex right-hander very beautifully there. So Quick managing to figure out his lines and his tire consumption game much better than everybody else at the moment.
Yeah, and I do think that this could also be the difference between Wolsal and Quick's tires. I mean, right now it's 30% also due to their set-off of 1 lap, but still, he lost 10% again over that. It was 20% just after both players just pit stopped. And Wolsal is at 46% and Quick at 75% tires still. That is just awesome to see how the Norwegian is just dominating. Really reminds you of Patrosa, how he played, and you can see he is not aggressive on his tires here. Just slows down a corner and he brakes in that kind of NASCAR turn. Carl does the same, and I think Wolsal was drifting it. Let's actually follow him and see how Wolsal goes in that turn, because he's on a good time as well.
Yeah, Wolsal looks to be on a good time, actually. Oh, also I completely missed that, but fastest lap for Mr. Supercar Loof, 0.069, slowly but surely getting closer to dipping into the 47 range, which we might be breaking into, courtesy of Wolsal, as we unfortunately see CMs in front of him being lapped, and doing a bit of a pinball impression in the pillar section in turn 8, but already losing a lot of time through that final sector. I don't think we might be seeing a fastest lap just yet, or am I going to be getting the ding-ding? No ding-ding, 0.374, and yeah, and indeed, yeah, he just turns in the car with a bit more pitch, and yeah, same for turn 2 as well, which is going to be adding another % in terms of tire usage.
Yeah, maybe it's 1 to 2% there for Wolsal that he lost of tires, and I mean over 10 laps, that is 20%, over 15 laps it's 30, and over, wait, I'm very brave now, and over 25 laps it's 50% tires. So that is do or die in this case, and also could decide 30 seconds more in the pit stop or not. And I think Wolsal has to go for that one, but the question is, can Quick capitalize from that? And I would say yes, he will, because Wolsal will probably go into the pit stop in the next lap. Oh, he definitely will, because he's at 19% tires just after this drift, maybe even 18, because he's very aggressive on his tires there. Look at that, 18. He lost 2% in that drift.
3% even at the exit of turn 2. You could see the little ticker. He's basically just becoming a ticking time bomb at this rate, his particular set of tires. He's definitely going to be stopping at the end of this 31st lap of racing, whereas Kvik and Marius are just going to be continuing on their merry way. And yeah, Marius is not really in a position to catch up to Kvik at the moment. He's just basically managing his own race, doing his own particular job, 10 seconds behind Kvik and Reiser. Currently still sitting around the 2-second mark compared to Marius 89, and maybe a little bit worse for wear when it comes to fuel and tires, but still a very, very good performance for the race winner in Div 2 last week.
Yeah, perfect race, but now he has made that mistake, and another one.
Pourquoi je l'ouvre qu'à ce moment-là, c'est pas possible?
Oui, c'est pas possible, je suis turbo. And
yeah, excuse the French. I was just like, yeah, there's no way that just happened when I just opened my mouth. I can't
pas
even
possible.
believe that happened.
Oh merde.
Shit.
No, like French is a great language. I really like it. I would love to understand it, but yeah, it's also very, very hard to learn a new language.
You have to pardon me if the French tends to resurface every once in a while. But
don't worry about it.
Yeah, Reiser, that was an unfortunate lap 31 there for Reiser with that full stop pick into the pillars in turn 8, and as a result, that has completely thrown his challenge for second place down in the gutter. And look who's there to try and pick up the spoils. It's Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter on P4 right now, and we have James giving up lap 30. I mean, he was 2 laps behind as well, but always unbind the DNF button or the respawn button, else you will be out. And also Neko is out, AFK, lap 28, doesn't want to play anymore. And look at that, Wolsal on 5th place after
Dexter
that pit stop is 22 seconds behind Quick now, and this could be as is. But the question is now, how many laps will Quick and Marius go for? Because like 32% tires, that's like 3 more laps at best. But the question is, can they do it or not? Like, that is something to figure out now.
That's the main thing. I'm thinking, I think there's like 3 laps left in that particular that particular set. Or maybe even less. I'm thinking end of lap 35, and that will be donezo. Just at the end, not of the next lap, but the one after that. Both Quick and Marius are going to be heading to the pit lane. In the meantime, Riser looking a little bit short on fuel there, my guy. 16 liters left of fuel.
Yeah.
He's still going to be going for one more lap. That's enough to make it through lap 34, but not lap 35. I think he's just going to have to dive exit stage right there.
I do think so as well there. So it is Riser on third right now. Wosal still on fourth, Shorty on fifth, and Carl and Shorty fighting it out very nicely there. So they have a good fight with each other, and also Speedy and Simon Luck, look at that, very close to each other as well. So 34,
wheel to wheel,
22 laps to go here before we have a race winner, and it could be Quick with a great performance. I do think that Wosa will drop down more the line still, or maybe he will stay on fourth position because the gaps are quite big already, and he will only quote-unquote lose like 20 to 30 seconds with that pit stop, because it's like, as you said, a splash and dash, and also the pit lane is not too long.
Yeah, and the pit lane is not as complicated to enter as some of the other circuits. In the meantime, I'm trying to follow along with Simon Luck, and yeah, Speedy just trying to go for an in-lap push, as we can see the gap continuing to mount, and yeah, there you go. Speedy peering up to the right-hand side, and Simon Luck just continuing on his merry way for one more lap, as I get a request to be shown the graphic for the pit stop. So there they are. That first stint was the rain-affected portion of the race. Everybody, or pretty much almost everybody, pitting at lap 15. And then you could see already Wosal pitting at lap 23 with the aggressiveness that he's been using his tire sets, 23 and 31. He's been on 8 laps and 8 lappers for now. In the meantime, Fick and Marius, the 2 race leaders, managing to pull off 2 clean 10-lap stints pretty much, as we're going to be seeing. Yeah, Fick and Marius in the pit lane. So there are their third pit stops at lap 35. Once again, 10-lap stints, which is looking pretty snazzy. And here, Riser was pitting on lap 24, but here, end of lap 35, manages to squeeze an 11-lapper out of that, which is a very, very solid gain for the man from Division 2, and also Simon Luck pitting at 25. So yeah, you can see, unfortunately for Wosal, with his particular tire management, or lack thereof, in that particular sense, not really looking to diss on Wosal, but it's just stating up a fact compared to Quick that was lot less care in terms of tire management compared to the Norwegian. I'm thinking, yeah, there's going to be some more maths to be had by the time the race has ended for Wosal, if he wants to make the race without any further pit stops and like 1 or 2 laps from the end, which would kind of suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so Wosal 41%. He has to pit already now. Like it's crazy, like how far apart they are already now. You know, the others just coming out of the pit stop, and Wosal is at 37% as Lingo is giving up. So I do think that there will be a great fight between Quick, Marius. I mean, Marius and Quick are 12 seconds behind, but then Dexter is there as well, top 5 right now for him, or make it even top 3 now, because they also, of course, have overtaken players who went into the pit stop. So Dexter Marius, I think, will be a good fight, maybe even for second place? Question mark.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, Dexter Marius for second place. That's actually a shout. Maybe a 3-way fight with Super Karlouf as well. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Super Karlouf quite far behind. Riser lost a bit of time, is 9 seconds behind Marius now, but he also had a very conservative lap before the pit stop, because he was at 1% fuel. Or 1 liter of fuel. I mean, percentage liters.
I'm thinking he might be looking to make it to another 11 lapper, so he could stop at lap 46. That way, he finishes with 1 10 lapper, and that would be his race over in terms of strategy management. That's the thinking I'm kind of feeling Riser is on right now.
So I think Riser just wants to get an okay race in Division 1, because like after a perfect race, that is just really cool to see that he's able to perform like that, and also can keep up. Like a new name that can keep up with the top 10, which is always great to see, that we have players like that joining in the field. Right now, just casually ahead of Shorty, right? Why not? So Wosal going to the pit stop again, and there you can see Quick just gaining time towards him. 13 seconds he was ahead, but he also had 1 more pit stop. He has 1 more pit stop to do. So Quick into the lead again. Wosal exiting the pit now, just in a couple of seconds, and well, I mean, lap 38, so that he will go 46. He has to go like for 9 lappers now or something like that. I'm not sure what the formula for Wosal will be, because he has to go a bit a bit slower, or like not slower, but like a bit safer, and needs to figure out that one line at the start.
Yeah, he's definitely got to get on top of that line at turn 1. That is costing him so much tire consumption. I'm guessing about 2.5%, with that last 0.5% being on the setup towards turn 2 as well. That very, well, I say very tight. It's not that tight, but yeah, you can see that decreasing radius in turn 2 that is also costing him a lot in terms of the tire life when he tries to set himself up for that set corner. So yeah, we're gonna have to be very wary of how Wosal sets himself up for those particular stints, as he falls back down to second, 13.5 seconds down on Quick, and Dexter is having his sights set on Wosal, less than a second between himself and the man in second place. If this was F1, this is where DRS would be open to reduce the drag by opening the rear flap. Of course, in Trackmania, there's no such thing as DRS, not even dual axis steering or DAS, that allows you to somewhat change the camber of the tires. I'm getting a little bit too sidetracked by motorsports, but anyway, you can see Wosal trying to widen the gap a little bit, protect himself from Dexter, who's running on somewhat more worn tires. Of course, he has yet to pit, about 27% of tire life left, 43 liters left in the tank, whereas Wosal, of course, is on his second lap of this stint, if I recall correctly. And also 4 tenths behind Mr. Dexter, we find Mr. Marius trying to recoup third place.
A very good fight here between Dexter, Marius, and then also Wosal a little bit in the distance. Dexter going for a pit stop now, lap 40. So I see that one definitely. So not just 8 lappers in the end. Marius still going for a couple of laps because his tires are still fresh. So Dexter will have fresh tires, and Marius maybe, I mean, one pit stop afterwards will be really hard. So let's see what Marius can do. 49%. I do not think that this would be enough. And maybe it will be raining here. That would be crazy to see a rainy ending. I thought for a second that it will get a bit darker here, but we already had rain in the second part of the free practice, and also in the qualifier, and also at the start of the race. So maybe a rainy race ending will be so hectic.
Yeah, rainy start and rainy end. That would be pretty epic, in my opinion, as we continue to see penalties being dished out for speeding in the pit lane. Dazzle, the latest casualty of the spit penalty.
We did not really think about that so many speeding penalties would happen. That's what I wanted to say.
I thought there would be a bit less than that, for sure.
Yeah, same. Actually, same here.
Okay, let's try to cycle for some of the people that we haven't really been shining a light to. Those people that are a lap behind, let's say that. Currently, let's go for... Okay, Razor Light currently sitting in P16. And yeah, you can see the gaps are very, very wide there. And we have a bit of a battle below that between Chadini. Well, Chadini had made a mistake, so nobody takes advantage of that. But Chadini, we'll see Nobody and Tim fight with each other. What happened there? Did I miss something?
No, just like nobody took advantage of that because his name is Nobody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't catching up that well on that. Yeah, but yeah. Tim, in the meantime, getting a very good lineup for the exit at turn 8 to make himself back up into P17. Oh, looking a bit slow. A bit of a bump on the tire barriers there from Nobody, who still has a little bit of speed. Same for Shadani, 2-for-1 deal, and you can see basically positions being left, being given away left, right, and center. In the meantime, Racer Light moving up into P14 from due to a mistake. I think it was by Bazaker or by Warl. I can't exactly recall that, but yeah, and of course towards the bottom end of the field we have those that have unfortunately left us: Akros, Odas, Neumneko, Yems, and Lingle, the 5 retirements to be reporting so far. In the meantime, Wosal continuing to improve the fastest lap of the race mark with a .033. Still no 47s just yet, as Super Kaluf pits from P4, and Wosal continuing to deal with that very, very heavy tire wear that he currently has. Still 10.2 seconds away from Quick, who's now heading towards his final part of the stint. Looking to maybe go for one more, trying to pit at the end of lap 45. Speedy getting a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, being a little bit too throttle happy there, the man from Team Evo, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Geek lagged out again.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you cannot do anything about that. That is fine.
Can't do anything. Yeah, but weather conditions again. Weather type 1.
Yeah, weather type 1. Maybe also here. Maybe also here.
Yeah, here type 1 as well. Yeah, Speedy 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Quick onto lap 45, the last lap of his stint. Wasal already heading into the pits with 21% of tires left. So yeah, 44. Yeah, he's. I don't know, man. I legitimately do not know what was up with the strategy call from Wasal. In the meantime,
maybe it works actually.
Maybe it could work.
Because Quick also, like Quick is at 11 laps, right? So yeah, he still has 11 laps to go, and I do think...
Yeah, he's got to squeeze it in 11... Oh, right, actually... Well, yeah, actually...
So he has to go for a very conservative strategy now, if he wants to win the race, so
Wasal pitted end of lap 44. Like, he's got to do 2 6-lappers if he wants to go for full, like, aggro strat, but that's not going to work, is it?
But also Quick has to maybe go for 2 pit stops. That's what I mean.
No, I don't. I legit don't think so. I think
but
he's just
gonna... look at the pit stop graph, Tom.
Pit stop graph. Okay, let me just.
It's 10 lappers all along, so he's missing. Like he has to play more conservative to make it work now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, but I don't think he's just gonna go for two stops until the end of the race. I legit think he's gonna be sticking onto an 11 lapper.
Yeah, I want to see how this works out because Walsall can definitely gain time with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Walsall, those are so short stints. Like he was on 8 lappers, then he did a 7 lapper, then a 6 lapper.
Very hectic race here, but I do think that I think
not too. So again, I'm not sure.
If Quick has to go for another stint, which could happen. I mean, maybe he has to readjust now. That is the problem. At the end of the race. Usually you do this 11 lapper after, like, at the first opportunity. The thing is, there was weather that was influencing this kind of race, and that's why players had to readjust. They had to do the math and be like, okay, when will I pit? What will I do? So maybe Quick was a bit too undecided there. As Riser goes for the lap 46 strat, but lost a lot of speed due to that, so he goes for a 10 lapper, and that's what I mean. You will lose a lot of time if you go for 11 laps as a stint. So let's see how that works, because Walsall is catching up a little bit. 47 laps, we have 9 more laps to go. Sin from Canada on 25th is getting lapped by Walsall here in 82nd.
Yeah, there he goes. I mean, that will be the move done into turn number 7 before the transition to the banking and heading into turn 8 from the perspective of Walsall. Sylvester is suggesting that Quick may be gambling on the rain towards the end of the race. That could be a strat that could pay out, but I don't see the sky. That is very risky. The sky isn't darkening so far, and we haven't had the prompt just yet. So this is extremely risky what we're seeing Quick here, but Walsall also kind of throwing caution to the wind on the strategy, trying to pull a little bit the strings and be a little bit creative in terms of strategy calls. And in the meantime, behind Dexter, 1.3 seconds ahead of Mr. Super Karlouf for the benefit of 3rd place, and Marius currently sitting in the top 5. Shorty P6, Riser, who exited the pits in P7, will be 4.2 seconds down on Shorty. iFreezer in P8, Speedy and Peckingenta in the top 10. I say is that Peckingenta unfortunately clouded the wall at the exit of turn 7. Thankfully, he had a fair bit of gap. Unlucky for Peckingenta, but he has quite a bit of gap to see Berserker coming. He's still about 1.1 second ahead in the meantime. Walsall heading into lap number 49, still in 2nd place,
2.5 seconds between them as Geek lags out again.
Still 1.4 seconds out. So yeah. 7 laps to go, and well, more 8 laps to go actually, since 49 is the current lap we're currently on. Yeah,
you need to cross that 49th lap as well. So the gap is slowly but surely dwindling here for Quick. Also has made a small mistake by the looks of it. 1.7 seconds now, but 48%. So Walsall definitely has to pit. Quick is a bit more conservative on his tires, so I do think that the race is decided by that, because Walsall has to go into the pit stop here one more time. Quick, maybe it's really not that kind of a problem for him, because he just needs to squeeze out in 1 or 2 turns, and maybe should just not drift that 1 turn by being easy on his tires. So there you go, lap 50 now for the players, so 7 more laps to go, and 67% should be, I mean, he pitted at lap 45 it was, I do recall correctly, so lap 5 laps, 5 laps and 33% of tires. Yeah, that is pretty good here for Quick. That is like 6 to 7% of tires per lap, if like a little bit more probably. Don't do math on stream. Yes. But Quick losing a lot of time here.
from what we've seen in practice, I was gauging about 7.5. He might be a little bit underneath that mark and more hovering toward the 7.0%. And actually, Karai, you might be right in saying that. But yeah, similar tire wear for Marius and Quick, probably looking to be on the same strategy, being that this would be their last stint. So Marius could come away with P2.
There you go.
Yeah, the Wasile, there you go, coming into the pit lane, and Karlouf might be following suit as well, because he's currently sitting on 20% of tires capital left for the time being. There you go, spearing on the right of the stage. So Marius could come away with a podium finish there, and yeah, Wasile just is going to have to be pushing very hard, and I don't think he's going to be managing to catch up in time. 16.8 seconds. Marius versus Wasile. I'm thinking Marius can have the upper hand, really.
Yeah, it's 2.9 seconds now. I mean, Wasile also does not have the best speed into the lap. But, I mean, 49 versus 97% tires. So I do think that the top 3 is decided here. Quick is 20 seconds ahead of Wasile. Just depending on how he clears the last couple of laps, the last 5 laps. But I do think that, you know, he's just on the, like, lap 52. He has 5 more laps. He's at 50% tires. So I do think that he's able to win this race, even though he loses a bit of time, because Wasile can be more aggressive. But I do not think, like, you cannot catch up 19 seconds towards the end of the race. So that will not happen. Then Shorty on 4th, batting out with Dexter, both at similar tires or tire management. Maybe Dexter can be a bit more aggressive, but he also was on a more aggressive strat than Wasile. So I do think that Dexter is going to take that 4th position. Carl on 6th, also joining the fight there. So look at that fight for 4th position, you geek.
Yeah, again, Karlouf trying to continue his good string of performances that was capped off with a 3rd place finish on Oasis. So far, so good, managing to try and fight for 4th place, which is just shy of that 3rd place. But yeah, Marius is a bit too far up ahead for 9.6 seconds for now. Although with the tire delta, we might be seeing that gap shrink a little bit. Dexter and Shorty and Mr. Super Karlouf continuing to swap positions checkpoint after checkpoint. Yeah, it is indeed a great fight for now, which we're going to continue watching on if you don't mind, as yeah, Karlouf now right within the exhaust fumes of Shorty, making the move on to turn 11,
good turn
up into P5. He goes, good turn for Carl indeed with 4 to go. Dexter still in P4, but look at how Carl is catching up just before heading into turn 1.
Yeah, very good line from Dexter, but Carl setting up so nice in this turn here as well, so he finds himself back into that battle for 4th place. Shorty a bit further behind, maybe has gambled a bit too much on his lines, even though he's at 50%, but it seems like Dexter and Carl figured it out a bit better. And Dexter, you can see he already lost 5% more tires than Shorty, so he's just really aggressive on those turns. And with that, he finds himself in the lead of that top 4 fight. Carl, however, not too far behind, only a couple of hundreds of a second, only just a couple of car lengths. I mean, that's crazy to see just after over 40 minutes of racing. Quick 17 seconds ahead. Marius on 3rd. The question really is, who's gonna get 4th position? Oh, but we've seen a mistake. Marius has to go. No, Marius didn't make a mistake. Marius has to go for a very quick pit stop. I have not seen how much he has done, but Marius at 100% now, so that was probably a miscalculation for Marius there, and also Shorty at 18% liters left.
He might have 18 liters left for Shorty. Yeah, he might have miscalculated also on the tire wear, because he was actually looking to be on the low 20% range when he actually made a stop. So now that battle is getting even more spicy. This could be a 2nd consecutive podium finish on the cards there for Mr. Super Karlouf. In the meantime, Dexter preventing the Frenchman from moving into that position, but we know that Carl can carry a supreme amount of speed into the final turn. Can he try to make the move again, heading into the penultimate lap? The answer so far is a no, but look at how he's visually catching up to Dexter as they're heading with 2 to go into the final stages of this race. And look, Karlouf into turn 2, moves up to 3rd.
Very good line there from Carl. 12 liters for Shorty. He will be coasting into the ending. Maybe Riser can even overtake there. So a lot of stories that will be told here as Quick approaches the last lap here of this race. Nano is out. He's the author of the map, so that's why he has DNF'd. So thanks for building us this great map here, Nano. Also, he was really good in the qualifier, setting the fastest lap in the first couple of minutes here. But we have Quick winning the race, but it's Wasile setting the fastest lap here. No sub 48 here in this race, as we've seen in the free practice. And it is Quick winning the race quite convincingly. But Tom, who will get third position, and also will it be enough for Shorty to stay out of Riser? And what about Marius as well?
See.
So many stories that will be answered after Quick will finish the race here. So another great performance for Quick. Wosa will get second place. What a great performance. 14 seconds ahead of the second place. Quick is winning race number 7, even slowing down a bit in the ending. GG's to Quick. The winner is from Norway. Wosa will get second. Carl on third. But let's focus on that fight here. Carl, Dexter, and Shorty are fighting it out. 2 liters left for Shorty.
Oh, 2 liters left for Shorty. He's going to be coasting all the way to the end. That brings me some very, very scary memories on Timeless Hills back in Season 2. But you can see Carl has done the job. And that's going to be his second consecutive podium in 2 races for the 2006 World Champions. Dexter in P4 and Shorty coasting to the line. Marius is way too far down to make anything about that. So Shorty will come away with a top 5 finish. Marius in P6. Riser for his first Div 1 race of the season, finishing a respectable P7, not getting lapped at all. He is the last car to be on the lead lap. That is very rightful of you to point out. But yeah, wow, what a race. Third race win of the season for Quick. Wosal 13 seconds down. We'll have to fight a little bit longer for that final TMFL title. And once again, congratulations to Super Kalu for a second consecutive podium finish and a valuable 80 points haul once again in the bag for the season.
Yeah, very good performance from Carl indeed. Dexter, but also most important, or like most notable, Marius pitting in this lap, like I think lap 53 or something like that. So that was a bit interesting to see that maybe gambled a bit too much there. Still getting 6th place, still ahead of Riser. Riser not getting lapped. His first race in Division 1. Great performance from him, then picking Anton 8th, Freezer on 9th, Golden Nugget on 10th, then we have Simon Locke, Speedy, Piadith, Berserker, Racerlight, Chardonnay, Claudio, Wall, Dazzle, and Nobody. Out of 35 players, we have 29 finishing the race, so that's not too many, all things considered, but also rainy races are not that popular and also are a bit harder. And also Wosal getting fastest laps, so Quick only catching up 20 points over this playday.
Okay, and we do have a bit of insight about that little late pit stop from Marius, and it seems like he did bet on rain. He said it himself in the chat that he was looking to try and pray for some rain to try and shake the cards up a little bit. That would have enabled his strategy to run, but unfortunately it didn't pan out. Very, very, very brave for of a gamble to actually make that happen on the side of Marius. Too bad it didn't pay out, but still, you can only commend the effort. You can only commend the effort that goes into making a strategy work like that.
Yeah, that is correct.